Welcome to FlyEaglesFly News, where Eagles fans get the latest, fastest, and hottest updates. Hit subscribe and fly high with us. The rumor mill is spinning at full speed, and the NFL world is losing its mind over what might be one of the most explosive moves in recent years. Reports are swirling that the Philadelphia Eagles are making an aggressive push to acquire cornerback TREVON DIGGS from the Dallas Cowboys, a move that would send shockwaves not only through the NFC East, but across the entire league. Imagine this for a second. DIGGS, the ball-hawking superstar who's built a reputation as one of the most dangerous defensive backs in the game, wearing midnight green instead of silver and blue. For fans, that's the definition of chaos. Sources close to the situation say the Eagles' front office is exploring all possibilities, and that this isn't just talk. There have been preliminary conversations, feelers sent, and maybe even a framework being discussed quietly behind the scenes. It's a move that screams win now, and when you look at how stacked the NFC is, it actually makes sense. The Eagles have been dominant, but their secondary has shown cracks. Bringing in a lockdown corner like DIGGS could patch those holes and push Philadelphia back to Super Bowl favorite status almost overnight. Now, let's think about what this would mean inside the division, because that's where things get truly juicy. The Cowboys and Eagles already hate each other. This is one of the fiercest rivalries in football, a battle built on decades of animosity, pride, and pain. For Dallas fans, watching one of their defensive stars cross the border to Philadelphia would feel like betrayal on a Shakespearean level. Jerry Jones has always been known as a man of pride, not easily swayed by trade talk. But if the Cowboys are listening, it could mean something bigger is brewing behind the scenes. Maybe it's a cap issue, maybe it's locker room tension, or maybe the Cowboys are trying to reshape their roster with youth and flexibility in mind. On the other side, the Eagles have never shied away from bold moves. Remember when they traded for A.J. Brown? People doubted that deal, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions in franchise history. Could this be the defensive version of that? Fans are already buzzing online, debating the possible trade package. A first-rounder, maybe two, or a combination of picks and a veteran defender. Either way, it's a blockbuster waiting to explode. And if we're talking about playoff implications, this move could literally rewrite the NFC picture. The Eagles are already contenders, sitting comfortably at the top of power rankings with an offense that can score from anywhere on the field. But their defense, especially against elite quarterbacks, has been shaky at times. TREVON DIGGS brings something few corners possess, that swagger, that ability to bait QBs into mistakes, to completely erase half the field. Pairing him with Darius Slay could give Philadelphia one of the most intimidating secondaries in football. That's nightmare fuel for teams like San Francisco, Detroit, and even Dallas themselves. Imagine Jalen Hurts leading long, clock-eating drives, and then DIGGS flipping the field with a game-changing interception. It's the kind of balance every contender dreams of. And let's not forget, the NFC race is tighter than ever. Every game, every possession, every defensive stop could be the difference between home field advantage and a wild-card spot. The Eagles seem to understand that, and if they pull this off, it could be the ultimate power move heading into the postseason. Of course, there's also the psychological warfare to consider. The Cowboys losing TREVON DIGGS to their most hated rival would sting in ways that go beyond the field. It would be a message, a loud, defiant statement that the Eagles aren't just trying to win, they're trying to dominate. Rivalries in the NFL aren't just about points. They're about pride, identity, and control. Think about the ripple effect this would cause in locker rooms, press conferences, and fan bases. The Cowboys' defense, already trying to recover from injuries, would suddenly face questions about leadership, morale, and trust. Meanwhile, the Eagles' locker room would be buzzing with adrenaline. Adding a player like DIGGS isn't just about talent, it's about mindset. He plays with aggression, confidence, and an edge that fits perfectly with Philly's tough, no-nonsense culture. You can already picture Nick Sirianni pacing around the facility with a grin, thinking about all the new defensive schemes he could unleash with DIGGS in the mix. It's not just a trade rumor anymore. It's a chess move that could tilt the balance of power across the NFC. Fans are already speculating on social media, dissecting every cryptic emoji, every vague post, every hint from insiders. DIGGS himself hasn't said much, But some eagle-eyed followers noticed he recently liked a post featuring Jalen Hurts, which, of course, sent the internet into meltdown. Whether that means anything or not, we all know how the modern NFL works. Players love to tease, to stir the pot, to keep fans guessing. But let's be honest, when there's this much smoke, there's usually at least a spark of fire. The question is, what are the Cowboys asking for? A trade like this wouldn't come cheap, and the Eagles would have to give up serious capital. But Howie Roseman, the Eagles' general manager, has built a reputation for pulling off the impossible. He's the kind of executive who sees windows of opportunity that others miss. If he believes DIGGS is the missing piece to bring the Lombardi back to Philly, he's not afraid to pay the price. That's what separates contenders from champions: timing, guts, and a bit of luck. Still, there's one thing everyone can agree on. If this deal happens, it's war in the NFC. A full-blown, no mercy, every game counts kind of war. The Eagles and Cowboys would become the center of gravity in the conference, every matchup turning into a mini Super Bowl, every play dissected like it's history in motion. The ripple effects would stretch across the league. The 49ers, Lions, and Packers would have to rethink their strategies, knowing the road to the Super Bowl just got a lot tougher. The media would feast on it, the fans would live for it, and the players would feel that energy every Sunday. This isn't just about football anymore. It's about legacy, about control, about rewriting the balance of power. If TREVON DIGGS truly makes that switch, it could go down as one of the most polarizing, game-changing trades of the decade. And no matter how it plays out, one thing's for sure: the NFC will never be the same again. The whispers aren't dying down. In fact, they're getting louder. Multiple insiders are claiming that the Eagles have already made an initial offer, described as aggressive but respectful, which suggests real negotiations are happening. That's not just smoke, that's fire catching wind. The Cowboys, meanwhile, are reportedly divided internally. Some front office voices believe DIGGS' value is sky high and that trading him to a rival is simply unthinkable. Others, though, see the financial logic. With the Cowboys having committed major money to Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb, moving DIGGS could free up flexibility to address other holes in the roster. Still, the optics are brutal. Imagine walking into AT&T Stadium next season and seeing DIGGS pick off Dak, celebrating in front of the same fans who once cheered for him. It's the kind of nightmare that makes even the boldest GM think twice. But the NFL is a business, and sentimentality rarely wins championships. The Eagles, sensing blood in the water, seem ready to pounce, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. If you zoom out, this rumored deal fits perfectly into the pattern the Eagles have built under Howie Roseman, striking when rivals hesitate. Just look at their roster over the past few years. They've constructed a balanced powerhouse through smart drafting, aggressive trades, and fearless decision-making. Bringing in TREVON DIGGS would be a continuation of that strategy, fortifying a defense that already features veterans like Darius Slay and emerging talents like Reed Blankenship. It's a statement move, the kind that says, we're not just chasing the division, we're chasing greatness. Philadelphia has been to the top of the mountain recently, but maintaining that dominance in a league built for parity takes constant evolution. DIGGS could be that evolution. His ball-hawking instincts, paired with the Eagles' front seven, would create a synergy that few offenses could handle. Even quarterbacks like Brock Purdy and Jared Goff would have to think twice before testing Philly's secondary. And that's exactly how championship teams win, by making their opponents uncomfortable before the ball is even snapped. Dallas, on the other hand, would face a reckoning. Losing DIGGS isn't just about numbers, it's about identity. The Cowboys have built their recent defensive success around swagger, around big plays, energy, and intimidation. Without DIGGS, that entire aura takes a hit. Sure, they still have Parsons, who's a generational talent, but football isn't won by one superstar. The ripple effect would be massive. Stephon Gilmore is nearing the end of his career, and the depth behind him isn't exactly elite. Trading DIGGS to a direct rival could backfire spectacularly, both on the field and in the locker room. Imagine the morale hit, the press conferences, the endless talk shows dissecting Jerry Jones' big mistake. It would be chaos, pure, unfiltered, Dallas-style chaos. And you know what? That's exactly what would make this story legendary. Because in the NFL, legends aren't made in comfort. They're made in controversy, in decisions that make the world stop and say, did that really just happen? FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. But from DIGGS' perspective, there might be more to this than people realize. He's always played with fire and confidence, but recently, whispers have suggested that his relationship with the Cowboys coaching staff hasn't been entirely smooth. Whether it's about defensive philosophy, contract expectations, or just personality clashes, tension happens in every locker room. And sometimes, change is inevitable. The Eagles, with their player-friendly culture and leadership under Sirianni, could offer DIGGS a fresh start. Philadelphia's defense thrives on aggression and trust, giving playmakers the freedom to read, react, and take risks. That's TREVON's game in a nutshell. It's not hard to imagine him flourishing in that environment, feeding off the city's passion and making game-changing plays in front of fans who live and breathe football. He'd be a villain to Dallas and a hero to Philly, and in sports, that kind of storyline is pure gold. For a player who thrives under pressure and loves the spotlight, this could be destiny knocking. Social media is treating this like a soap opera, with fan accounts posting photoshops of DIGGS in an Eagles jersey, analysts debating trade packages on live shows, and insiders hinting that talks are progressing. It's the kind of chaos that only the NFL offseason, or in-season madness, can produce. The sheer drama of a move like this is why football isn't just a sport anymore. It's entertainment, it's theater, it's emotion on full display. Eagles fans are already flooding comment sections, daring Jerry Jones to make the call, while Cowboys Nation is begging him to hold firm. The tension is electric, and it's feeding into the broader narrative that the NFC is a powder keg waiting to blow. Whether this deal happens or not almost doesn't matter anymore. The idea of it alone has reignited one of football's greatest rivalries. And that's the beauty of the game. The rumors, the what-ifs, the stories that keep fans glued to their screens. At the end of the day, if this trade actually goes through, it would redefine both franchises. The Eagles would instantly become the most feared team in the NFC, their defense turning from good to terrifying. The Cowboys, meanwhile, would have to rebuild not just their secondary, but their identity. Every interception, every touchdown, every post-game quote would carry double the weight, knowing it's personal now. And make no mistake, it would be personal. The fans would turn every matchup into a war zone of emotions, every highlight into a memory that lasts for years. Trevon Diggs in Philadelphia isn't just a roster move. It's an earthquake waiting to happen. Whether it's real or just smoke, one thing is certain. This story has already changed the season's energy. Because when the Eagles and Cowboys are at the center of drama, the entire league pays attention. And if this rumor ever becomes reality, buckle up. The NFC won't just be competitive. It'll be explosive. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.